Hey guys, and welcome to Cal's Corner. My name is Callie, and I want to start off this podcast by kind of explaining what we're going to be doing here. Um, we're going to be, I'm going to be sharing some fun project ideas like DIYs, drawing and artsy ideas, things like that. Especially to help during this the whole pandemic and everything going on, and all of you being stuck at home. I know it's really boring, so hopefully a way to spice up your life now and possibly later to become a hobby or something like that. I'm here to recommend fun books and some videos and especially things like audio dramas, audiobooks, stuff like that, especially for some of you who do not like to read. And yeah, I'm just kind of here to be a friend. I'm here, I will be reading some of my favorite stories and poetry and stuff like that. And every week, I am going to give a Bible verse for y'all to memorize, especially for those of you who are going to meet with me at the end of the week. I have a Zoom meeting set up to happen every other week um, after I release a podcast. And my hope is that by the time the meet rolls around, you guys will have the verse memorized or at least partially memorized, and we can kind of discuss it and all that kind of stuff, which would be a lot of fun. And each week I will assign some kind of, I guess assign is a little strict, but recommend some kind of drawing or artsy or DIY project um, that you can do. And if you feel like it, if you join us at the meet at the end of the week on Fridays, you can go ahead and share that with us if you want. Just hold it up in front of your camera, whatever works. Um, so that's kind of how things are going to work for now. And I'm going to read a story out of this book, Helpful Hal's Treasury of Christian Virtues. I grew up on this book. My mom used to read these stories to me all the time. I absolutely loved them. There are beautiful pictures in this book, but unfortunately, I don't have any way to share those with you right now. So, and even if you're listening to the podcast, not watching the video, you wouldn't be able to see them anyway. But hopefully someday, maybe your family buys this book and you guys get to read it for yourselves. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to try to find a way to share some of these beautiful images with you because they're just they're so entertaining and cute, and they really get I guess they kind of give emotion to the stories, and they just help you connect with them a little better. But for now, I'll just be reading one of these, and then I'm going to end with some info on when our next podcast might come out and video, and info for the meet, the Friday meet, and then a random fact about me. So without further ado, I guess we'll get started. I want to explain my whole camera situation. I know it's really poor quality and all that. I am working on trying to find a high quality webcam that I can use so that I can give you guys better content. But for now, this is what we got. We got to stick with it. But bear with me for that. So yeah, for the next few weeks, we'll just kind of keep it chill and go over helpful house stories and some memory verses and some little projects to take home. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with something that I want to kind of be our motto verse. It's a very cheery, um, I don't know how to explain it. You can't read it and not feel happy and joyful in the Lord. And it's Isaiah 55:12. It says, "You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands." It's such, I mean, it's just so beautiful, isn't it? And then I have an art project for you this week. And this one I'm so excited about. So take a piece of paper, just a blank piece of paper, and I want you to take a pencil, a pen, whatever you have, whatever you prefer to use, and sketch a really big whale. However you like to draw your whales, but just a simple whale, nothing on the inside, perhaps an eye and a mouth. Then I want you to kind of split that whale in half with a nice, pretty line. And this next part you can do with colored pencils or markers or pens if you have, colored pens that you like to use, like gel pens, or just with a pencil and leave it white and gray. But one half, the whole thing, you're going to make fun, detailed, like little, uh, I call them doodles, little squiggles, circles, flowers, all that kind of stuff. Fill up the entire top half with that. And then on the bottom half, you might make it look as if there are vines growing up over the bottom or whatever. And then either the top or the bottom will be darker than the other side. And so you can fill it in with a color or with just a gray pencil or something like that if you wish. And then just make it your own. Don't try and copy anything anyone else does. Just make it something that you're very proud of, because this is something that you can have so much fun with. And just fill it in, make it your own, give your whale a personality, put it that way. Okay, so I am going to jump into the first Helpful Howl's Treasury of Christian Virtues story that I wish to read. And this is called Sir Maggie the Mighty, a story about obedience. Helpful Howl says, when we know people love us, it's much easier to do what they say. I'm sure you know that God and your parents love you, and that's why it's so important to obey them. Down at the end of an old pumpkin patch row, at the edge of a pond where the wiggle weeds grow, Maggie McBuggins, her mom and her pop, lived in a squash with a leafy green top. There in the shade of a wiggleweed flower, Maggie McBuggins would play by the hour. Sometimes she went on a voyage at sea. Toughest and bravest of pirates was she. Maggie was also an Indian scout, dressed up in feathers and sneaking about. And other times she was Sir Maggie the Mighty, a gallant young knight and a brave one, alrighty. Sir Maggie would always accompany Mom down to the market upon her horse Tom. She'd gone there so often, she knew every inch. To a brave knight like Maggie, the trip was a cinch. So one day when Maggie was pretty well grown, Mom let her go to the store on her own. Her mom said, get dressed and I'll give you some money. All that I need is some bug juice and honey. This is my biggest adventure, thought Maggie, donning a night suit that looked sort of baggy. I'll need my best sword, and I'll need my best boots, and a shield to block spears if the enemy shoots. But when Maggie's mom got a look at her knight, she wasn't the slightest bit pleased with the sight. Maggie, you can't wear your good dress, she said. What if you rip it? Wear this one instead. And Daddy's big boots. Now what did I say? You'll trip if you wear them. Please put them away. Maggie went back to her room storming mad. She doubted if other knights had it this bad. And as she was putting on less knightish clothes and pulling the boots from her wee little toes, she suddenly thought of a scandalous scheme, a devious scheme that would work like a dream. Out of her closet she got a big sack, the sort she could carry along on her back. She snatched the boots and she stuffed them inside, along with the dress. What a great place to hide! Maggie pretended that nothing was wrong as Mom gave her money and sent her along. Just bug juice and honey, she heard her mom say. Go straight to the market. Please don't stop to play. But Maggie no sooner had turned down the road than into the bushes she sprang like a toad. She put on the things that she'd hid in her sack, stuck the rest in the bushes, and shouted, Attack! Sir Maggie the Mighty was off on her way, feeling quite knightish and gallant and gay. A short ways ahead, by the side of the street, a candy store stood, full of good things to eat. Wouldn't a gumball be great, Maggie thought. But when she went in, can you guess what she bought? Taffy and gumdrops and peppermints too, and one giant gumball, a piece that was blue. She gobbled up goodies and strolled down the street, till all she had left was the gumball to eat. But as she stepped up to the marketplace door, her stomach felt sicker than ever before. She hurried to pick up the bug juice and honey and went to the grocer to give him the money. "My dear," he said, "you don't have enough money. A penny won't buy you but 1 drop of honey. Also, I'd say that you look rather sick. You'd better get home. Now run along quick." Sir Maggie the Mighty staggered toward home, thinking how badly she'd done on her own. She crawled through the bushes to pick up her sack when she heard a gruff growl, and she turned to look back. And there on the grass, looking quite mean, was the ugliest Drog that she'd ever seen. Sir Maggie the Mighty did not stay to fight. She turned with a scream, and her feet took to flight. But her boots were so big that she tripped in the mud, and into the muck Maggie went with a thud. And the dastardly Drog took her last piece of candy, the blue piece of gum, which he thought was just dandy. I have to pause and show you this. In case you didn't know, I didn't say dog, I said Drog. And this is a Drog. Mrs. McBuggins was terribly shocked when into the house her little girl walked. Maggie had mud from her heels to her hair. In her boots, on her dress, she had mud everywhere. "I'm sorry," cried Maggie, the mud-covered knight. "The warnings you gave me turned out to be right. I didn't obey you. I wore my good dress, and now I'm a terrible, horrible mess. I stopped to buy candy and spent all the money. That's why I don't have any bug juice or honey." Then Maggie's mom set her into the tub, and as she was giving the girl a good scrub, she said, "Maggie dear, I think that you've seen that I don't make up rules just because I want to be mean. I just want to know that you're quite safe and sound, that you're not lost or hurt or in mud on the ground. I love you, and that's why I say what I say. And once you know that, I hope you'll obey." When Maggie was cleaned up and cheery once more, she got some more money and went to the store. She picked up the groceries and headed straight home, proving that she could do quite fine on her own. The only thing extra she bought on the way was one little gumball, which she gave away. At the very end of the story, we have a little verse provided by Handy Dandy Helpful Hal, and it says, "Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord." Colossians 3:20. All right, guys, so that was our Helpful Hal's Treasury of Christian Virtues story for the week. I will be hosting a Zoom meet session on Friday at 3:30, and I will send you an invite if you contact me at callymally101 at gmail.com. And it's just CALLYMALLY 101 at gmail.com. And let me know your name and a good way to contact you, and I'll send you the info for the meet. And then, oh my goodness, one random fact about me. I had a few I was going to say, but I think I settled on the fact that I like cactuses. And here, let me show you. I even have one on my desk, not a real one. I'm afraid it would die even in my care. But I have a cactus. It was given to me by a very dear friend. It's actually a jewelry thing, but I don't have any earrings to put on it. And so it just sits there. And it's my little cactus. This guy needs a name. For those of you listening on the podcast, he has a pink base, and then it's just a little green cactus with 2 eyes and a little mouth, and its arms are going up. So this little guy needs a name. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments if you're watching the video, and if you email me to come to the meet, let me know that way. All right, guys. Well, that's it for Cal's Corner for this week. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Cal's Corner. If you liked the video, hit that like button down below and subscribe, and make sure you turn on the notifications so that you know whenever I post a new video. Hopefully as we get started, that'll be every other week, and maybe even eventually every week. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.